Hello, I'm Elgato, welcome back to the Minecraft Updated Aquatic video. Today I wanted to talk about the corals and coral reefs found within this update because they are some of the most interesting but also appealing features we've had in quite some time in Minecraft, because they are one of the very few blocks in Minecraft that are both so colourful but can also die. That's right, you can kill a coral block in Minecraft and it will go to looking like this, something you probably don't want to build in your Minecraft world, and a lot of people don't like the restriction that coral blocks have to be underwater, and I figured because of that, why not give you a guide on exactly how you can build with coral blocks above the water so that it looks like it's above water at least and not connected to water, and also give you a guide on how to get these blocks in survival, because when you see coral reefs in survival, you want them, you want to build with them, you want to do something with them, but the truth is actually getting all the resources you need to do this is somewhat tricky, and finding the coral reefs in the first place can be a whole challenge. So here is your full tutorial on how to get the coral blocks, the coral reefs, the coral plants, everything you want in survival, and also how you can then build those blocks in survival to make them look like they're not even below the water. So please do like this if you do like it, because it helps out the channel and lets me know you do like these updated aquatic tutorials and you want to keep on seeing them on the channel. And let me just start by addressing all of the updated aquatic puns, because a lot of people have been seeing the puns and saying, what are you doing with all of these puns, Toycat? And I see what you're all saying with all of that. I absolutely see what you're saying, and I'm sure that there'll be no puns going forwards. Don't worry, we're going to stop on all of the puns. You don't even need to be salty about it. So with that said, let's get straight into talking about the coral reefs, because the first thing you need to know about any coral reef is how to find them. Because honestly, for some people, just finding this thing is enough for them. Just being able to swim through the ocean with the clownfish, with the tropical fish, with the pufferfish is just enough of a thing for them, because it's absolutely beautiful. As you can see, when you swim through a coral reef, it's just a huge, vast ocean that really, honestly, this is what makes you think of the updated aquatic. Seeing this just huge new environment, this new structure, this new place, it just gives you a good feeling of what's going on this update. And if you want to find one of these things, all you need to do is find a warm ocean. They're only found in the warmest of the warm oceans, which obviously is found by finding again, like you have to look for sand on the ocean, and then honestly, just keep swimming through the warmer oceans, keep looking from warm to warm ocean. Eventually you will find one. They're not as rare as they used to be, and the other thing about them is that if you are in a boat, just look out for the sea pickles, because the other thing about this biome, even if you're not looking for the brightly colored corals that come very close to the surface sometimes, you'll find sea pickles all over these places, and the sea pickles will light the place from above. So again, these should be easy enough to find. Look for warm oceans, then you'll find some corals. So let's say you found your coral reef. How exactly can you take advantage of it in survival? Because you might just figure, oh, it's easy. You go at that with an axe, probably, maybe a pickaxe, and then you just mine it until it's done. However, again, kind of counterintuitively, if you want to mine any of these blocks, you can't just use a regular old pickaxe, which I'll show you right here. That like, oh yeah, that's a nice idea, but you won't actually get the block when you do it, because again, if you want to get a coral block, because it is an alive block, it is a dying block. Again, as you can see, we got a dead version of the block, which that's not good. You don't want a dead version of the block. If you want the alive block, you have to silk touch it, because you want to, silk touch up the life from it, or something like that, which means if you want to get yourself, let's say, some pink blocks like this, what you need to do is go right down to the surface, make sure you're at the surface, because if you're in the air, it takes longer to mine, but on the surface, it's much faster, and then you can get yourself any of the blocks, and they will come out alive as well, because again, personally, I think alive things are better than dead things. Maybe I'm the crazy one, but yeah, that's what you want to do. You want to go down to the surface, again, make sure you're on the surface before you start mining, and then go out the blocks as much as you like, and again, I personally will say you'll get about 1 or 2 blocks done per oxygen meter, especially if they're below ground, but that's where the second piece of equipment you're going to need for this comes in. So if you don't know about the turtle helmet, it's a brand new piece of equipment in this update. It's crafted from 5 scute or 5 turtle shell pieces. Basically, when turtles turn into adults, they drop turtle shell pieces, and they'll drop, if you take 5 of those together, you'll get the turtle shell helmet. So take this turtle shell helmet and combine it with aqua affinity, and you'll get not only the breathing effect of the turtle shell, but the affinity effect of the of this enchantment, which means you can have a double oxygen meter essentially, and also on top of that have much faster mining times underwater. So let me show you that before we could get 1, maybe 2 coral blocks mined before we had to come to the surface. Let me show you what happens now with this aqua affinity charm on my turtle shell helmet. As you can see, I'm mining it like it's maybe like a gold ore or something, like a pretty slow block, but I'm mining them fast anyway. Oh, that was weird. But I'm mining them pretty fast regardless, and we've still only just hit our oxygen meter. We're just going crazy hard through the coral reefs, and this is the best way to pick up a coral reef. Have some amount, or even have a water breathing potion, have some amount of stuff like that, and then bring aqua affinities to the table, because otherwise it will take you far too long to mine, because coral is a pretty slow mining block in the, again, on the Bedrock versions, and on the jar version, it's a little bit faster, but on Bedrock at least, it's a pretty slow mining block, so make sure you bring aqua affinity, or even just drain the water around it if that's your thing, but still, it's going to be a huge thing, so just keep that in mind. So now that you've got yourself some coral blocks, you might want to place them above the water so that they look like this. You can use them for your flooring perhaps, or for walls. You really want to use these blocks because for some reason this is just the prettiest block in the game. Well, the way you do this is actually somewhat simple. It's just you have to hide water in one of the directions. So because so basically, as you can see right here, if I place this block outside of water, it will die in about 3 seconds. You have a little bit of time until suddenly it turns into the dead version of the block, and this means that all you have to do is place some water next to it in that time, but it doesn't even have to be a source block next to it. It can be a flowing piece of water next to it. As long as any amount of water is touching one of the blocks next to this, then you'll see how the coral will survive as a result of that. So, interestingly enough, you can use this in some weird ways, and okay, it's gonna die now. I'm sorry, block, I missed you. So, as you can see, you can use this in some interesting ways, so that if you cover up, let's say, a pond, or you make a pond and then cover it up, you can then do the interesting thing of having, as you can see right here, we've got ourselves a purple floor, and you can't even see, again, if we just covered this bit up over here, we put something there, you wouldn't be able to see underneath this, you wouldn't be able to tell there's water, it would just look like someone has mastered the purple coral, and that's a wonderful little thing. But you can also use this by making a vertical source of water. As you can see, if I do the same thing over here, get rid of that block, get rid of this block, you can make vertical sources of water, and then use that so that you can have walls going around it. So just in this easy example right here, as you can see, I've got myself a bunch of coral blocks, hiding the water source entirely now. There's no way to know there's water back there, I guess besides the trees, but it looks like you just have coral walls, which is great. Again, it's a distinguishing block that most people won't know how to use, and that you can be like, oh yeah, I guess I just have the most alive versions. Isn't that a crazy coincidence? And yeah, you can kind of shock your friends like that. It's worth mentioning how coral blocks don't just come in coral themselves. There is obviously two other types you can get. There is the coral fan, and there is the coral, plant itself. So again, keep in mind the coral plant is just called the coral. So I pick up one of those. Has to be using Silk Touch. Again, it looks like this. These can only be placed directly underwater, so they're a little bit less fun in my opinion, because like, oh, what are we going to do? Place it like there? Isn't that exciting? Again, you can't really place them above water, but you can use them as undersea decorations. And then coral fans are even less exciting, because again, I personally, I'm just not a big fan of them. They're not as great to me, because like, it's a little bit of a decoration block to make corals look better, but you can't really use this in any meaningful way besides like, oh, I'll place it there, and I guess that looks a bit nicer. It's close to the top of the water, but again, because it has to be underwater, it can only really be used in a decorative sense, and it's already used in the best sense in the coral reef, which it comes with. So again, that's my personal take on this biome. You really only want the blocks. The other things, they're worthwhile if you want to recreate a coral reef, but if you want to make something else that uses these colors, because again, these are super tropical colors. You've got all the primary colors, red, blue, yellow, and then you've got pink and purple. With all these colors, I think you can build something at least a little bit better than all of that. So yeah, with that in mind, that is how you find the coral reef. That is how you mine the coral. That's how you use them above the water. Now let's just talk a few little tips before the end here about how you can, kind of make the most of this stuff. So again, first of all, always bring these sea pickles with you too. Sea pickles are one of the other valuable things in this biome that you're going to want to keep. The other thing is that if you don't have aqua affinity or you don't have respiration and you want to find air in one of these biomes, the best tip I find, so again, I'm going to go to the surface and then use one little oxygen meter if I can. If we go down below the surface, just like this, I think one of the best things to do is to like dig into a wall, just like this, and as you can see, water will fill it instantly until you go 2 blocks in which case you have a little air hole, which you can use for yourself to keep mining in and out. Maybe that's useful for you. Another thing that works sometimes and not always, again, this works in ocean monuments, but sometimes not on coral reefs, is because when coral dies, it's replaced by water. So find a coral block and then try and dig below it. So for instance, right here, find a block that's surrounded on all sides by other blocks. This block right here, it's surrounded on all sides by other things, so we just dig right into that. Oh, well, it's empty above it. But if you find blocks that are just in the ceiling and you mine one of the blocks, it can't be replaced by water usually, especially if it's made out of stone. So I'll show you in this cave over here again. For instance, if we mine into this cave like we already did, and we make a little thing, and let's say the water keeps pouring into the cave, or it's coral, all you have to do is dig up 1 block into the sky and do that, and it's easy and done. As long as you're, again, away from the water, you can do that. So yeah, air bubbles are really important in this update. You need to kind of make them yourself though, and that's how you can mine coral most effectively. So with that said, I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something about coral from it. Please do like it if you did like it, because it helps out the channel out, and lets know that you do like these sorts of videos and you want to see them every single day on your channel. And make sure you subscribe, turn notifications. And also, I'm considering doing a tutorial on the water physics, because I know they confuse a lot of people. When you see something like this, I know it confuses everyone. Like, wait, what is this block right here? What is happening? So do you want to see a tutorial on water physics and how to, use them, abuse them, or do you rather wait until the update's out? Let me know in the comments down below, because, things are confusing right now. And thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Have a nice day. Goodbye.